Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Srini here, and this is my new video in the current series. We had seen in the last session Cucumber BDD introduction. In this particular session, we'll be going one step further and we'll look at the basic scenario of how we can try to have a feature file written, how to write step definition file, how does the framework configuration goes about, and even the dependencies from scratch. So stay tuned till the end and do share, like, and share with your friends and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done yet. So let's get started, guys. So this is a today's topic, Cucumber BDD framework with Maven dependencies. So we are going to create a Mavenize project and add Cucumber BDD dependencies and start doing the configuration and coding from scratch. So these are going to be the key takeaways from today's session. So let me open up this particular document, Maven dependencies for Cucumber BDD. So we have to go to any IDE like Eclipse or whatever you are using, IntelliJ, and start creating a project from scratch. So I'll be demonstrating that as a live demo. So what are key takeaways from current session? So we'll be looking as to what all dependencies are required for a Cucumber BDD. We are going to create a Cucumber BDD framework from scratch. It's a Mavenized project, so we don't have to download the jars explicitly. And lastly, today we'll be also looking at one sample feature file, step definition, and we'll try to run the project. So let's get started. So I'll open Eclipse. Let me click on creating a new project. Go for Maven project. So we have to create a simple project here. If you have not seen my another video on Maven, if you are new to Maven, please look at my other video, which will give you a basic idea about Maven. So click on create simple project, click on next. Give a name here, Cucumber BDD. And give this the same way and click on finish. Right now, we would be able to see this kind of a project getting created. It has form.xml. It's a Maven project. So allow a couple of seconds for it to load completely. Yeah, now it is completely loaded. What we are going to do is we are going to create some packages inside our SRC main Java because we are going to construct a Cucumber BDD framework, right? So we need to have a proper organization of our files. So let's say this particular one, I'm calling it as step definition. So we would need one particular file called step definitions.java. So I'm going to store that inside this particular package. We'll have another package for runner. So let's call it as runner, right? And let's create some Java files inside it. So I'm going to have, okay, and let's create a file under runner. So these are the very basic setup which we require to do when we are working with Cucumber BDD. I'm just trying to show the skeleton or the architecture of the framework first. And there would be some main file which we require, and we might have created some utilities. So let's create a package called utils, and let's try to create a Java file inside it called as utilities.java. Right? And what else do we require? We require to create one particular folder inside this project called features. So in this particular folder, we are going to store our feature file. Now, if you have not installed Cucumber BDD plugin, let me show you how to do that. You have to go to help, go to Eclipse Marketplace, and here in this find text box, you need to search for the Cucumber plugin. And then once you've installed it, you will be able to see the Gherkin syntax and Cucumber feature file representation properly. Yeah, allow for some seconds for it to load. Yeah, it is loaded. Now let's search for Cucumber. Search for it. So I have already got it installed, Cucumber Eclipse plugin. So you can install the same way from Marketplace. And once it is installed and you have restarted your Eclipse, you will be able to see that reflecting in your project. So how do I verify that? So just click on the folder, right click on the folder features and click on new file. Just call it like google.feature. We are going to work with Google application. So google.feature. So .feature should be the extension of the file. Click on finish. And you can see now that we have the Gherkin syntax reflected. I mean, we have all the keywords and everything mentioned in a proper format. So we are going to follow this format. I'll explain this template. So this is a feature file, and here they have given some example of it. So it's like a feature, scenario, etc. I'm going to explain this from scratch, so don't worry. Let me delete this comments and all. Yeah. So for every feature file, right, you would be having a particular attribute called @tag. It's an annotation actually. So I have to mention a tag at the feature level. It's optional, by the way. If you want, you can have it. Otherwise, even you can delete it. So I'm going to work with Google applications. So that's the reason I'm trying to put the parent tag as feature at the feature level as @Google. And at the scenario level also, I can put Google. But additionally, I would want to maybe add some more tags like @smoke, @sanity. Sometimes we may include sanity. It may be a modular verification, so I may have to also include some additional tags. Let's give a name to this as test Google application functionality. So this is a feature, okay. But if we are not particularly sure what all features we are going to test, so we will just keep it as generic for now. And scenario will talk about what we want to test in that feature. So this is like a subset of feature. And what we are going to test inside this feature, let's say test Google homepage function. This is what we want to verify as a part of our scenario. So what do we need to have now? So there are some annotations also present here, like given, when, then, and there is also this and. So whenever you have certain preconditions, you will be putting that into given. If it's like a very big sentence or there are like multiple conditions which has to be achieved, you can always use this and annotation to combine those conditions. So this one and this one, like two parts can be combined using and, but it will still be a part of the given implementation because you're using and because you wanted to break it down into two parts or more parts. So this will still be mapped to your given annotation, even this part. Okay. So let's get started. Let's try to write a scenario. So what do we need to mention here? Given the user has opened, let's say we pass the parameter like this way, Chrome browser, right? Let's say we want to mention this way. We don't need and currently, so I'm going to delete this part. When user enters, we want to open Google application here, right? So I would say here, instead of this double quotes, I can also use like this way. I can use a variable name, let's say application, right? And I can say application. So for this particular one, what you would have to do when you're writing this way, you would have to mention this as a scenario outline, give examples here, okay, give examples here, and try to give the variable name inside the pipe symbol. So this is the name of the variable, and below that you can give the value. So I want to open this particular website, right? So I can basically give that particular value inside the application variable. And here we go. This particular variable will be replaced at runtime whenever this execution happens by this URL. So like that, I can have multiple variables given here with 5 delimited, like let's say username, right? Let's say password. So accordingly, you have to just give the username and password here, and you can have multiple iterations of data like this. Like this would be comprising the another value for application. Then I can have another username. So let's say this is user one. Then for password, let's say pass one. Similarly, I can have the multiple data iterations performed using the scenario outline, right? Let's say we don't want to do scenario outline part. We just want to keep it plain and simple. Then you don't need to give any examples or anything. You just have to provide the value directly hard coded here. I can also give hard coded like this here. But in this case, this scenario outline will be removed. It will just be a scenario because it's just one data iteration. And this also would be taken out of picture. Okay, this is the plain one how we have to pass the data if you're working with only scenario without any data iteration. But let's say we have to go ahead with our scenario outline where data iterations have to be performed, then you have to make it again to scenario outline. This is just a brief introduction about Cucumber BDD. So we will be trying to run one scenario and we'll check how it goes. Right. Okay, so I'm going to remove this username password for now. We don't have any such variable to be passed. We are just trying a plain scenario. right? So let's say that user has entered the Google application, and what else, right? We don't need any and condition now. We have to do a verification now that the user is really indeed on the Google application. So we would say user asserts that the page title is Google. I'm just trying to put some value here. It may not be Google. We have to check what is the actual value and we try to log in or try to open this thing manually. So let's say here, I try to open google.com, right? Google.co.in. We try to open this one. Let's see what we get. The title is Google. So we are right, right? The title is indeed Google. So what we have written is correct, right? Now we have given a feature file, we have given when then annotation, and we have created the structure of the project, but it is the very basic thing which we had to do. We don't even have the jars or anything to get started with Cucumber syntax. It was just the framework structure which I have done the outlining part. Now comes the important part of form.xml. There are certain dependencies which you have to download, and that you can do it through form.xml. So let me open form.xml, go to this tab. And here we have to define all the dependencies inside this project. So there are going to be two important tags which we have to keep in mind. One is dependencies, where we are going to have entire set of dependencies downloaded. And the other one is a build tag. So whichever plugins are required, we can have those plugins as a part of the build tag. And in this one, I need to have two plugins available. One is for compiling this project, Maven project, and other one is for the execution of Maven project. So we use Maven compiler and Maven Surefire plugin. So let's try to go for MVN repository, right? And just say Maven compiler plugin. Yeah. So this is what we have to go for. Let's click on it. Yeah, go for the latest version because we might have some vulnerabilities from a security perspective. So always better to go for the latest version. Yeah, so this does not have any vulnerability. So just copy this one. Don't copy dependency because we are going to use it as a plugin. As you see, its group ID, artifact ID is representing from a plugin perspective. So we have to put this value inside a plugin tag, and that's it from a Maven compiler perspective. Let's similarly search here for Maven Surefire plugin, right? So go to this particular link, go for the latest one, but these looks to be like some kind of a work in progress verification ones. So let's go for the 2.22. There is no vulnerability here, so we are good to use this. Yeah, there we go. So we have configured our Maven compiler and Maven Surefire plugin. Now what we have to do is to configure the dependencies. What all dependencies we require for executing this Cucumber BDD. Just from a Cucumber syntax perspective, we will look at the Selenium libraries, but for now, let's look at the Cucumber syntax. So let me open this file. I've embedded this file. So we need Cucumber code. Let's search for Cucumber code and keep searching one by one. Right, Cucumber core, and see this the latest for this 2022. Let's use the latest one. Well, you can download the entire tag by the way, and keep on adding dependency tags like this. So what's the next one? It's Cucumber Java. Again, look for this official symbol and the timeline. It is June 23rd, 2022. Click on this and then keep on adding the dependencies like this. This is from scratch, so it's going to really help you when you try to do it on your own. And the next one is Cucumber JUnit. Let's go back, search for Cucumber JUnit. Okay, here it is, Cucumber official symbol. It is latest June 2022. Again, uses 7.4.1. As much as possible, try to see if you can use the same version. Try to keep a synergy between the different dependencies. But if there is no version available for that, it should still be okay. So I'm trying my best to use the same version. Then comes the Cucumber JVM depths for the dependencies of Cucumber JVM. So there might be dependencies which are interconnected to each other. So for that, we need this Cucumber JVM depths. So it was latest timeline is 2017. So this looks the latest one. Click on it. There is only one version, so let's use this. Right? What else we require? We require Cucumber reporting dependency for Cucumber reports purpose. So let's search it here. July 2022. Let's use the latest one. It is from Mastercard. This is the proper source where we're getting this artifact. What else we require? We require Gherkin. Okay, let's go for Gherkin. So Gherkin is required for plain English syntax, but from a programming perspective, we need Gherkin and Cucumber. So yeah, we can go for this 2301. There's some usages shown here. So go for ones which are having high usage. That gives some confidence in using that dependency. We have JUnit. Yeah, so JUnit 1 was 2021. This is for JUnit framework, by the way. It was moved to JUnit Jupyter API. Okay. But yeah, we can use this old version also. It's fine. Going forward for new versions, you can refer to that other link. Let's go back and see what else we require. We require Mockito all and Kobertura. Kobertura and Mockito all are not that mandatory, but yeah, let's try to download. Okay, 2015 is the one. And I can see a lot of usages in 2014 here, 5900. So let's go for this one. That's the beta version. So if there is no vulnerability, you can still go for the older version because beta ones are like work in progress. So I wanted to use a stable one. And let's see the last one is Kobertura. Okay. So Kobertura. We have Kobertura code coverage, and this is for SourceForge Kobertura. Okay. But if you see, it has moved to this one, next source Kobertura. This is the one. So let's use this and to 2.1.1. But there are some vulnerabilities, as we can see from these artifacts. So better is not to use such kind of a dependency. If there are any vulnerability, let's wait for a secured version to be released. So I'll just stop here. I will not go for Kobertura. It's fine. What we have to do now is after we have added all these dependencies and plugins, we are done with the library perspective. What we need to do, Control S. It will start building your workspace and download these artifacts from the internet to your .m2 folder in your user folder. So you would be having a username inside C drive. So under that, there will be a .m2 folder created, and these all artifacts will be basically downloaded into that folder. There will be folder created for every type of category, like Apache. There will be a separate folder under org, like that. It will follow this path. JUnit, there will be a separate folder. IO Cucumber, there will be a separate folder. Right. So for me, it was already there in my .m2. That is the reason it got downloaded very fast. But for you, it may take few minutes or so. You might see there is a red symbol shown here. This sometimes occurs when the dependencies may, be try to be downloaded, but there is no issue. We just have to do one simple step. You may just go to Maven, click on Update Project, select this force update if in case some dependency was not properly downloaded. Select Update Project and Clean Project for sure, and also have it refreshed. Let's click on OK. So it will try to clean up if something was not right. Yeah, you can see red symbol has gone. We are all good here. Now let's start doing the coding part. So we have already done the feature file coding part. We are good here. Now we need to complete step definition and the test runner. We look at the utilities in the later sessions. So in the test runner, we have to give a syntax for Cucumber to understand it's a test runner file from a Cucumber framework perspective. So we have this run with, and what we're going to run with is Cucumber library we are going to use. Take some time to load cucumber.class. And yeah, we have got this imported. Let's also import this annotation run with, right? We have already downloaded JUnit as a part of dependency. So when you expand the Maven dependencies in a Maven framework, Maven project, you can see all these dependencies have been downloaded as a form of a jar. And if you see the path here, it is downloaded inside the .m2 and the repository folder. So that is the reason first time it may take some time to download. So you can refer my Maven video to get a complete idea about Mega project. After we have done this, we have to give some options as to how this Cucumber framework is going to work. So I'm going to say @Cucumber options. Okay. I want the features to be a part of this particular folder. So you have to give the folder name here. So features, I have to refer this features folder, and the step definition, to map step definition to the feature, I'm going to use a variable called attribute called glue, and I'm going to say this has the package name for the step definition, which is step definitions, right? Then we require some Cucumber report formatting to be done. So I'm going to say plugin equal to, and I have to give a format now. So I can try to give a format here. So let me say I need to prettify the Cucumber report. Then I want to have the Cucumber report captured into some folder location, but the type is going to be HTML. Okay. And what is going to be the folder path? Let's say I want to store it inside the target. So I can say target slash Cucumber HTML rep.html and just try to put this. So this is going to give the complete path where your Cucumber report has to be stored, right? So this plugin has been the recent change. Earlier it was like format. Now we are using plugin. After this, you have to just import this Cucumber options annotation. Just do a mouse over on this and import Cucumber options, right? So your runner plus is also set. Now your only one step remaining is step definitions. So let's go to step definitions file, and here we have to write step definition for every Google feature, every Google annotation tag, the feature annotation tag. Right? We have given when then. So let's copy all the three. I'll show you how to write it. We have to just copy all the three. Okay. Try to make it as a comment so that it is easy for you to refer only this file when you're trying to create a step definition, right? Like this way, given. Copy this entire part and just put it inside the double quotes, and you have to start with a symbol here, this one, and to end the syntax you have to use this dollar symbol. Okay, now if you see, we had placed a string parameter inside a double quote. That's why we are having this escape character added by the compiler automatically. If in case you're doing it manually, you have to always put this escape character with the double quotes following it. And here should be the variable pass. So here we are using a string parameter. So that is why I'm going to do this way. I'm going to replace this with a regular expression like this. And I'm going to create a method. So method name also you can use a similar way, but we can also give a new name. So I'll say open browser. Let's start with a small case and second one as capital. We have a string parameter. Let's say browser type, right? Browser type. And here we go. So we have done the first basics thing, but we have to still write the implementation part. So for now, I'm not going to focus on implementation in this session. I'll do that in the next one. So we will focus only on the running this particular project properly. So let's say in open browser is, and let's try to append the browser name, type of the browser. Right, so we just have to import this annotation now. So go to this import given, and likewise do it for all of them. So I'm just going to copy it, and we just have to change this given to @when, and this one to @then. So we have to give the definitions for each of the annotations, but now the verbiage is going to change. We have to use this one. So we will put this inside when. Again, we have to replace this with dot star for the string parameter. I'll show for number how to write it, but in this session, let's focus on string parameter. Then you have to write the same syntax and give a different name for your method. So this is like opening an application. So let's say open application, but which application? That we need to get it from the user. And then you can say in open application, right? And then say the application name is application, right? So this is the basic thing which we require to do, and then import when, and now is only then is remaining. So let's copy paste this then part and put it here, right? And now let's try to complete the syntax. I hope it is clear till now. Let's try to continue this one. And user asserts that the page title is, so again, we have to use dollar dot star, right? So let's say dollar dot star, and that is it. You have to get the title from the user. So I'm going to say assert page title as the name of the method. Assert page title. So I've got done the renaming of all the methods here. So this is the way we have to do the implementation of Cucumber BDD from a framework perspective, and import this then annotation, right? And yeah, let's put the method name and mention the title. Right, so that's it. We have done the implementation for all of our scenarios annotations that is given when then. In case if you had any and, it will also be coming as a part of your at the rate given. If you had any and user enters username and password, so that will also will fall under given. So whenever you're trying to combine using and, that will come as a part of the same type of annotation that is given when or then, however you're using, the way you're using it in your scenario for the feature file. Okay. So we have the feature file ready. We have given the data with examples, right, for a scenario outline. And we don't have any utilities code right now. We have a test runner class where we have given the linkage, therefore this features file, therefore this glue. And whereas here we have all the dependencies mentioned out. And we have compiler plugin and Surefire plugin to compile it and run it respectively, right? So we're all set. Let's go ahead and run the program. So we can run this particular project in two ways. Either you can run it from feature file, just right click and say run as cucumber.feature, or you can run it from a test runner file. So let's start this time from a test runner file, run as, and click on JUnit test. It's a JUnit framework. Okay. So you can see in the first attempt, we have got it completely right. We have got the test case executed. It has worked fine. And now let's try to refresh this project and open this target folder. See, there is a .html got created. Open this target folder in your Explorer and try to open the HTML report. And try to open this. You can see it is mentioning the operating system, what is the JVM use, what is the type of Cucumber JVM, expand this area, and you can see now the Google feature and what scenario outline we had created, the annotations and the example, and it has passed. There is a green color here. If it would have failed, it would have got a red symbol shown. So this is how a sample example we have used here to see how the Cucumber BDD framework can be created from scratch. There is one more thing I wanted to explain in this session, that if you get such kind of warning in red color, don't worry much about it. What you have to ensure is that these all of them are getting identified, all the step definition, and you can see there is output shown in open browser. Browser is, application name is, and asserting the title is Google. This is what is important for us to verify. This as well, you can try to ignore these warnings. So if you see here, disable this message with one of the following ways. So you just have to create a file called cucumber.properties inside src test resources and mention this property as true. Cucumber.publish.quiet equal to true. So let's create that src test resources, create a file called cucumber.properties. Let's just click on file and just select this file as a type and mention the name, finish, and cucumber publish.quiet equal to true. That's all what is required, and we can then rerun the project again. That's it. Remember, there should not be any space before or after. It will take that space also as a part of the value. And after that, immediately go to the next property if you need to have a new property. Okay. You can again refer a properties video if you need some more clarification on properties concept. So let's rerun it again and let's run it this time from feature file. You see there are no warnings shown now, and we are all having a clean output shown in the console, and even this is showing the run. I hope this was very clear to you all. And if you like this video, please do follow my channel. And I have got one more update for you all. I'll be starting with a new channel. I've already started it, Learn to Code by Srini. Here, I'll be creating a lot of videos on coding from scratch, and I'll be starting with Python as a programming language because already in my channel, there are a lot of videos available in Java. Along with Python, there will be few more things which I would like to highlight, which I'll be including in this channel. You would have heard of data structures and algorithms concepts, which are asked in many IT companies, big IT giants. So I'll be also focusing on that aspect and creating a playlist on data structures and algorithms. How do we learn from scratch, the conceptual things, then the questions from Lead Code, Geeks for Geeks, Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank, lot of important and useful information to follow. So please do follow this channel and subscribe it and show your support and love as you have been doing to my Selenium automation channel. I would love to basically expand my coverage to other programming areas and not just focus to automation. That is the reason I've created a separate channel to have a different niche. That's all from now. Please do subscribe my channel and do follow for other important updates. Thank you so much.